Okay, hello everybody, welcome back to Tìandtarot. This is your November monthly predictions for career, love, and general life. So this is a pick a pile reading, and if you don't know how pick a pile readings work, I will explain that to you now. So you pick the pile you feel most intuitively drawn to, either based on the energy, the number of the pile, or the crystal that is on top. So over here we have pile 1, pile 2, pile 3, pile 4, and pile 5. If you do like choosing with crystals, I will go ahead and add those now. Okay, so these are the crystals for the pile. On pile 1 we have a Smokey quartz tower. For pile 2 we have a cherry blossom agate tower. For pile 3 we have a fluorite tower. This is supposed to be purple and green. It's got like a purple tip. For pile 4 we have this dogtooth amethyst tower. And for pile 5 we have this Howlite tower. So now you can go ahead and pick your pile. Once you have done so, there will be timestamps in the description box below for you to find your pile. If you feel drawn to more than one, then that is great because it almost makes the reading a little bit more personalized to you. So feel free to check out more than one if you feel drawn to more than one pile, and I will see you in your reading. Bye. Okay, welcome pile 1 to your reading. You chose the Smoky Quartz Tower, which is a very protective, grounding energy. It also implies transformation. Okay, so let's look at your cards. So, these cards are for your career, and here you have the Six of Wands, and then you also have the Page of Chalices. I feel like for this month, for the month of November, you're going to be very creative, especially in your approach to work. You're going to have a lot of interesting ideas which are definitely going to be recognized. You might even have new ideas about what you would like to do career-wise, or what path you'd like to go down, or new projects you'd like to get started with in your current position. And this new journey is going to reap a lot of success for you monetarily. But I also think you're going to find something that's more emotionally fulfilling for you career-wise. So if you are currently in a position that you really enjoy, you might just be taking on more projects or projects in a different sector within the same company that kind of make you feel more inspired and intrigued by life. Even if you really enjoy your career and the things you do, sometimes the monotonous sort of routine of constantly doing the same thing can make you want to do something new and something different. So maybe just taking on a different or extra project might liven things up in your life a bit. But I also see you partnering up with somebody career-wise. Oh, sorry, my cat is headed into the reading. Don't mind her. Get on you. Good girl. You're so cute. Okay. I think as well, in the past, you may have had some difficulty getting to where you are now. So you might have had to have done some tough jobs, dealt with, some difficult customers or difficult kind of work colleagues. But in kind of keeping your head and staying very level-headed and mature about things, you've managed to get to where you are now, and that is why you are in such a good position at the minute. You're in quite a good place career-wise. You're quite successful in terms of when you reflect back on the past and where you've come from. You've actually achieved a lot. Maybe over the years you've slowly been sort of increasing your wage, maybe switching jobs until, you know, you get to a better pay, or maybe you've been working really hard to try and maintain a good workplace environment and have like good connections with your colleagues. And I feel like that is completely owed to the efforts you've put in the past, and now you can finally sit down and just be at peace. Sorry about that. And I think because you've managed to be such a peaceful, calm, level-headed, kind of very successful person, you've been able to nurture these really good relationships with your colleagues. And I think now for the month of November, it's just going to be you enjoying that, like you getting along with everybody and kind of actually enjoying the people that you're around at work. And I feel like you've got like this kind of, you're very excited about these new friendships and these new relationships. I feel like for you, what may be really like telling that you're being successful in your career is how well you get along with everybody. And so I think you're really actually going to enjoy the kind of friendships that you're nurturing within your career this month. And it's actually going to make your day to day so much more fun and enjoyable. And this card is kind of a reminder that in November, you will be putting in the effort to maintain these friendships, because without that effort, without you trying to maintain them, you know, they can slip through the cracks. You know, these friendships can fade out if you don't always put the effort in to keep in touch and check in with them and see how they're doing. And, you know, I just think in November you're going to be putting a lot more effort into the close connections you have with colleagues, which in turn makes your career a lot more fun and successful in the long run. So yeah, okay, let's now get into your love readings. So what is on the cards for pile 1 in terms of love for the month of November? Okay, so you have the Two of Swords here. Let's get one more card. What is on the table in terms of love? Nice, okay. And then you also have the Queen of Wands. The Two of Swords is interesting because you're being asked to make a decision about a person, and evaluate as to whether or not the situation is healthy, and to just kind of reflect on that and make sure that you are making the right decisions, or that this person is right for you. But the Queen of Wands would indicate that somebody really adventurous and inspiring is coming into your life. They may be a bit older than you, just slightly, and they may be very inspiring and very adventurous, and they kind of make you excited to try. And also, you're kind of being urged to lead with love, so you're kind of being told to act with a lot of compassion and kindness and love to the people around you, but also make the right decision. So if this person, I definitely see somebody coming in November. These are two cards that kind of represent taking action. So I definitely feel movement. Something is happening. Maybe someone is manifesting into your world, so they may not come in November, but they're definitely starting to become interested in you. So love is 100% on the cards, but I just feel like you're being asked to reflect as to whether or not this relationship is healthy. Reevaluate if maybe there's a power dynamic between the two of you, and whether or not that's impacting your relationship in a negative way. For example, if this person is older than you may need to evaluate whether or not that age gap is a problem, and whether that's creating almost a power dynamic between the two of you. But that doesn't necessarily mean that is going to be an issue. It just means you may need to reflect. Make sure that when you set boundaries, they're being listened to, and make sure that this person is very respectful towards you. And if you come to a conclusion where maybe you don't want to pursue anything with this person, you're being told to let them down gently with kindness and compassion. But if this is somebody that you do want to pursue something with, again, you're just being asked to keep an open mind, stay positive, lead with love, but stay alert to the fact that you may need to make a firm choice as to whether or not this person is the right person for you. Okay. So that is what I see for you in terms of love. And now for general life, I'm going to get some more cards. What is happening generally in pile one's life in the month of November? Okay, so you have the Page of Autumn. And you also have La Lune. Ooh, okay. Okay, so there's definitely a new beginning for you. You've had 2 page cards so far. So there is something new starting in your life in November. And I don't think you know what this is. You've got 2 cards here, both with their eyes covered in some kind of way, which makes me feel like you're being kept in the dark about what this new chapter in your life is. Especially with La Lune here, there's an air of mystery around this card. So you're not supposed to know yet what this change is. But you're being asked to trust your intuition and listen to it. So because you're not being given like a clear, this is what's going to happen in your life, you're being asked to trust the feelings and follow them. So for example, if you have like an inkling, like a gut feeling to start a new creative project this month, you're being told to like trust that feeling and follow it through and do that creative project. It could be anything. It doesn't have to be a creative project. It could literally be any type of intuitive feeling that you need to suddenly do something. Maybe someone is like invites you out for coffee this week, and then you get a feeling to say no, or you get a feeling to say yes. You're being told to listen to whatever that feeling is and like follow through with it. So basically just trust your intuition, because something new is starting here and your intuition will lead you to it. Your inner voice will help lead you to this new page in your life in November. And you're basically being told it's going to lead to a lot of success. This new chapter is going to invite in a lot of abundance and success, and it may be based off of your talents as well. But you are just being reminded to lead with love, kindness, happiness, nurture the connections and relationships in your life, especially work-based ones. So make a lot of connections with people and spend time investing in those relationships and being kind to everybody around you, and it should naturally lead you into this new, really exciting, successful chapter in your life. Okay, and I did also just want to see what important dates you may need to be aware of, and star signs and things like that in the month of November. Okay, so you have the first house, which it could mean literally the 1st of November, but it could also be the first month, so it could be January of next year, but it could also be April, so Aries and March, because it's the first house. This is all about focusing on yourself and being kind of not not necessarily selfish, but putting yourself first and your needs first. This month isn't necessarily about giving. You can still be kind and, nice and loving, but it also means you do need to focus on your own needs, your own boundaries, and things like that. For your star sign, you have Scorpio. So maybe the person coming into your life is a Scorpio, or the friends in your life are Scorpios. There's also a lot of water energy, so basically focus a lot on your emotions and your feelings this month. Listen to them because they have important messages. And then for your planet, you have Mars, which again, that's very Aries. So it's about taking action, being super bold, super headstrong, going after what you want. So don't be afraid to approach people and try and be their friend or get to know them or go after the things that you want in your life. You're basically being told to take a lot of action and try and make sure you're getting what you want out of life, and also investing in your emotions this month. So, Pile 1, that was your reading, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe, as it really helps the channel. If you were drawn to any other piles, please feel free to check those out now, as this is the end of your reading, and I hope to see you here next week for another reading. Bye. Okay, hello Pile 2, welcome to your reading. You chose the Cherry Blossom Agate Tower. And these are your cards all about career, so let's get into them. So you have the King of Coins, amazing. And then you also have the Four of Chalices in reverse. So I definitely feel like in the past you've had a lot of financial insecurity. Maybe you've not also been in the best careers or in the best, in a career that kind of like is fruitful. And so you've kind of felt a bit locked out and left out in life and a little bit held back. But in the month of November, this is definitely turning around. You are kind of mastering your finances and mastering your career. You're kind of bossing up, like you're leveling up. You are kind of putting in more active energy, more driver's seat energy in terms of your career. So if you are currently in a position, you are basically going to be taking on more responsibility and acting and proving that you are very talented and very experienced, which is going to bring in a lot of notice, and you may even be receiving monetary benefits from that kind of action. Also, with November being so close to Christmas, there could be a bonus on its way to you, but that's not guaranteed. That's just my own speculation. But if you do not currently have a job and you are looking for one, these cards are basically letting you know you are about to get a really good job, and the next job you are going to get is going to benefit you a lot financially, and get rid of this feeling. It's going to kind of change the feelings you had of being left out and kind of feeling like you weren't making enough money, or feeling kind of held back financially and career wise, or feeling like you couldn't get your foot in the door into the career you want. These cards are letting me know you're definitely getting the career you want. So let's say you've always wanted to be like a firefighter, and up until this point you could only ever get positions at an office job. This is kind of like letting you know that the office jobs are behind you and the firefighter job is the one you're going to get. Obviously that's just an example, so take it as it resonates. That doesn't literally mean you're going to get a job as a firefighter. It just means that if whatever job you want is not reflective of the jobs you've had in the past, this is definitely headed towards you in November. Like in November, you're going to be leveling up, bossing up, kind of improving your finances and improving your career really drastically in a very material way. And it's going to completely change your emotions as well. It's going to make you feel so much more fulfilled. I think it's the feelings that are changing more than anything. Like I think you felt really left behind and really ostracized, maybe from like the people around you as well. Maybe the people in your kind of age group are doing quite well financially, or just your friends in general are doing well career wise, and you've kind of felt left behind, but you're about to get an opportunity in November that kind of changes that. And then in changing that circumstance, it improves the way you feel. Great, so that's really exciting. Let's look into your love life for November. So what is pile 2's November love life prediction? I felt these two. Okay, so you have the 5 of Wands. And then you also had the High Priestess here. Okay. Okay, this is interesting. So if you are in a relationship right now, and I'm going to get onto the singles in a second, but if you are in a relationship right now and there is conflict, maybe you've been clashing heads over really fundamental issues, like social issues and just like moral beliefs, and you've been like having disagreements about that. These cards are kind of letting you know that these incompatibilities may be so extreme that you might need to evaluate whether or not it's appropriate for you to cut your losses and leave. Because this person might just be too different from you. But then with the High Priestess, you are being told to not act yet. So you're being told to sit and contemplate and think, because you don't have enough information to act right now. So what you're being asked to do is to be inactive, sit, contemplate, listen to your intuition, listen to your inner voice, because there's really important messages for you there. And then once you've kind of come to a conclusion and evaluated the situation from almost an omniscient point of view, you can then return to it with an answer as to whether or not this relationship and this person is incompatible with you, or whether or not it is worth persevering with or has any kind of potential and longevity. So you need to have a period of reflection, and then you need to make a decision. However, if you are currently single, what this is saying is that you may have not necessarily a negative outlook on love, but maybe you kind of have some conflicting feelings. Like maybe you want love, but you also don't want love. And maybe you want to date, but you almost feel resentment to the fact that you're not currently dating, and you almost feel like it's owed to you, which is a really unhealthy kind of toxic mindset. If you are going through that, you're basically being asked to sit and reflect, listen to your intuition, listen to your inner voice, calm down, feel a bit more at peace, and try to resolve some of those unhealthy outlooks on love. As well as if you are someone who both wants love and doesn't want love, you're being asked to scrutinize that. Like, go over it. Why do you have those feelings, and work through them and figure out what one you really want to listen to. Do you want it or do you not want it? And kind of like come to a decision. Either cut your losses and walk away, or, you know, pick a side, essentially. So if you really want love, but then you have these feelings of like, okay, but like dating is toxic and I struggle with dating and things like that, you're being asked to work through these feelings in November in order to prepare for maybe inviting that energy in the following month, or the next year. This month is definitely about you reflecting on your love life and evaluating whether situations or personal opinions are currently benefiting you or weighing you down, and then to act on those feelings and emotions. So to work through those negative approaches to your love life, and to also work through any difficult relationships you might be having at the minute. Okay. Now, what's going to happen in pile 2's life in general in November? Okay, so you have 2 cards. You have the King of Winter and the Queen of Winter in reverse. Yeah, so I definitely feel like for some of you, unfortunately, like I feel like a breakup might be on its way, or just not necessarily a breakup, but definitely like a massive difference between you and a partner or another person. There's just some level of incompatibility that just, it can't end in a positive kind of way. It's almost like you're bound to constantly disagree, and you won't really find a middle ground where you both agree on a scenario or a situation. And so it's going to get to a point where you realize if no one person can really change their mind, then this can't really move forward. So in general, there's kind of this cold, detached energy for November. There's a lot more focus on career and finances, and a kind of pullback on emotions and love. But I do think this kind of, all of these changes that are happening are actually going to bring you a bit more peace. I feel like at the minute you feel a very like dejected, saddened by your kind of environment, the life you have. Maybe the people around you aren't very supportive, as the cards would suggest. And so when these situations inevitably fall through, it's almost like the Tower card. Like, yeah, loss is hard and those losses are difficult to deal with, but they happened for a reason, and it almost helps you find a place of peace and comfort, because you're like, okay, well, things are looking up because I've lost a situation that was not healthy for me, and I've also gained a better situation career-wise and financially. So you're starting to feel a little bit more neutral and a little bit more grounded and ready to kind of restart a new beginning, essentially. Okay, so let's get into any important dates, months, or star signs for your pile. Okay, so you have the 11th house, which, you know, could be November. So November itself is very important. Maybe the 11th of November, but definitely very important. You also have Taurus here, which is a very earthy energy. You're kind of being asked to get grounded. You're being asked to get grounded, but also stay kind in your approach to situations and things. And then you also have Uranus here, which is essentially just about a lot of change and inspiration. Like, there's going to be a lot of changes happening in November for you, but it is going to help you feel more inspired about your life. You're kind of going to reform your life. You're going to almost reshape it in a way that makes you feel better, because you don't currently feel the best. There's a lot of like cold, detached, almost like negative emotions coming off of this pile, and you're going to kind of reform that and turn your life into something you prefer, basically. And you're going to be focusing on yourself, as you should, for this month. There's also an air of mystery around your future, for this month, and Uranus has that kind of mysterious energy as well. And with mystery, I always feel something positive. Like, I always feel like mystery is basically like, we've got this really good, cute secret, but we can't tell you what it is, but you're gonna love it. Like, that's kind of the energy. And I think you might be acting a little bit more spontaneously in November as well. But there is definitely some sort of shift or change to a relationship or friendship group or something going, because this doesn't just have to be love. So there's definitely a shift in your social situations, massively, in terms of career, friends, relationships. You're kind of draining the toxic or toxicity out of your life in November, so that you can then start to rebuild to a positive place. That toxic energy is kind of fading out in November. It's kind of, you're flushing out these negative influences, so that you can like grow and expand and change with these like new experiences, which is really exciting. I feel really excited for you that you're able to actually get rid of this toxicity and gain in something so much more fulfilling, and start honoring yourself and putting yourself first. I think that's really beautiful. So yeah, that was your reading pile 2. I hope you really liked it. If you did, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, as it really helps the channel. Thank you. If you're drawn to any other piles, please feel free to check those out now, as this is the end of your reading. And I hope to see you here for another reading next week, Fridays. That's when I post. Bye. Okay, pile 3, welcome to your reading. You chose the purple and green fluorite tower, which I'm just going to put here. I really like that one. Okay, and these are your cards for your career. So you have the High Priestess in reverse, and you also have the Justice card in reverse as well. Okay. So there is a massive energy around your career, a really like important energy for this month of November. You're being asked to reflect on the internal beliefs you have and the kind of the way you live your life, or the way you work career-wise. I think you might potentially, some of you might be benefiting from the exploitation or misfortune of others in their career. For example, there might be someone at work who you know is kind of being mistreated or taken advantage of, and by not standing up for them, you kind of benefit from that because it keeps you in a secure position, but it puts them in a negative one because no one is kind of standing up for them or speaking up. And you might be in a position of privilege where if you did speak up, you would be protected and you would be okay, but they wouldn't. So you're kind of being asked to reflect on that, if that is the case for some of you. As I said, like, this is just a general reading. Take what resonates. It might not even be relevant to some of you, but for others it might. And just kind of see where you could stand up for people more in your career. But also for most of you, I feel like in November you're recognizing that there's an imbalance in your career. There's kind of a lie, either someone else has told you or that you are telling yourself. It's either a lie or just you not seeing the full picture or having the full picture, but it's kind of holding you back from your true potential. So for example, you might be telling yourself, oh, I couldn't change. Let's say you like really want to change the career path you're on, and you think, oh, I couldn't change my career path because it's too late. I've already done this job for like 10 years. I can't just switch now. This is kind of telling you that you need to reevaluate those self-doubting beliefs, because it potentially is a lie and it might not necessarily be the full truth. And it might just be that you're actually too afraid to change career. It's not that any obstacles stand in your way, it's that you are being driven by your fears and not your desires. So these are kind of telling you to look inwardly on the way you approach your job and your career and your finances, and kind of reflect on that and see if there is any areas where you've kind of been fed a lie, like by a boss saying like, oh, you could never get a better job than this, but like that's not true. or if you are telling yourself the same thing. And to recognize your kind of talent and your power and your potential, because you're currently like being held back by some type of lie, and it's creating a really big imbalance in your life. And if you actually address that mindset that you have, or those beliefs that you have, then you might actually find yourself in a better position. So for the month of November, there's going to be a lot of reflection around deceits that you may have been told or maybe telling yourself regarding your career, and just kind of working through those kind of feelings. Okay, now let's see what is on the cards for love for pile 3. Okay, you have the 10 of Cups. And then you also have the High Priestess. Okay, so for those of you that are in a relationship, this actually, and for those of you that are single, you're basically being told to appreciate what you have, because you're exactly where you're meant to be. So if there's currently no romantic partner in your life, you're basically being told to enjoy what you do have. Enjoy the family you have, the friends around you, enjoy the love that you currently have in your life, and really treasure your family and home. Be content with what you have, because you're where you're currently meant to be. And then, if something happens after that, it happens. But for November, you're just being told to really be present with your current family and appreciate them. However, there is, with the High Priestess, like an air of mystery. You're being told to not really act right now. So if you are single and you are looking for love, it's not really, you're not really being asked to go out and like ask people out and go and find somebody or like message anybody. You're kind of being told to wait, because if you are single, there is an air of mystery, an air of somebody waiting to come into your life. And if this is like a person headed your way, they're probably like a water sign, like a Scorpio, Cancer, maybe a Pisces. And it's definitely romantic. This person that is coming in feels romantic. If not, it's at the very least, a very deep friendship. But this is like a life partner for sure, like someone you can really build an amazing future with, and weather life's difficulties with. But you're also being told that if you are currently in a relationship, to enjoy it and invest in it, because you're going to have like an amazing future. So really just take the time to actually enjoy being around them, and to focus on them. So that's what you're being asked to do in love, essentially. And let's look into your general. What is going to happen in general for pile 3 in life for the month of November? Okay. So you have 2 cards. You have the 8 of Spring. And you also have Grace. Okay, so this is interesting. So with Grace, we're kind of referencing back to your career cards here. There is some sort of missing morality or integrity in your life that is creating an imbalance. It's not creating like a happy healthy environment, and that really needs to be addressed. It might be your own issue, but it could also be someone around you that is missing their like morality that you kind of maybe need to help them with. Or maybe it's maybe they have like a damaging habit, or you have a damaging habit that kind of needs to be addressed in November, because otherwise you may fall, like it's creating this unbalanced energy. And you need to act with a lot of compassion towards other people, and kind of reflect on your own behaviors instead of judging other people for theirs, if you are someone who does that. You may be quite like power hungry career wise, and stepping on like people's toes in order to get what you want, and that's really not fair, and you're kind of being asked to reflect on that essentially. You're being asked to focus on what's important. So your family, the family around you, the love and support around you is really the most important part. So you're being asked to pull away from this kind of unjust energy that you're kind of pushing into your career, and actually return to more humble, natural gifts in life, and that is your family. You're also being told that by acting this month really quickly and swiftly and making these changes, implementing them straight away, investing in time into your family, standing up for people and making sure you're making the right moral choices at work and with the people around you, in taking those really quick, swift actions, you're going to actually really benefit your life, and you're going to end up in a place where that like an opportunity hits you at the right time. So it's like by quickly fixing all of these things, you're going to find yourself, one, in a better situation, but two, in a place where opportunities find their way to you, like good karma starts coming in. So you're basically being called to act really kindly and morally, and try and get that good karma. But once you've made these kind of fast choices, where you've made these decisions to spend more time with family and act with more compassion at work, you're then being asked to slow down and enjoy the journey, because otherwise you might miss out on something. If you don't do these things, there might be something you miss out on, maybe with your family, maybe even career-wise. If you don't actually act and then slow down and enjoy the journey, you might actually miss out on something really important. So it's really imperative that you make the right moral choices this month, and forever in general, and make the best moral choices. But you're also being told to be more compassionate, loving, kind, caring, and spend time with family, with the things that matter. Okay, so let's see if there's any important dates, planets, houses for you this month. Oh, okay, so you have the moon, which is mystery. So I definitely feel like there's a mysterious kind of question mark over what this opportunity is going to be when you actually fix up what's kind of going on in your life right now and then slow down and enjoy the moment. You're going to find yourself in a position where an opportunity presents itself to you, but there's a mystery as to what that opportunity actually is. And then we have the 5th house. The 5th house is ruled by Leo, so definitely take action. This is like strong energy. It's all about like your pleasures, the fun, the entertainment of life. So you're being asked to kind of go into that basically. Spend time at home with your family, get creative, express yourself, have a lot of leisure time, holidays, vacations, basically like pull away from this kind of work life and have a lot more fun, essentially. And then you also have over here Gemini. So you're kind of being asked to recreate that balance in your life. Make sure both sides are really well-tempered, both home and career life. You need to make sure that you're behaving well in both and investing enough time in both. And you also need to act with a lot of logic here. You need to be very smart about things, and you also need to start communicating a lot better. I feel like some of you may have a tendency to kind of gossip and judge and cast like judgment on others around you, and you're kind of being asked to communicate a lot better by not doing that, like pulling away from the gossip at work and actually just learning to communicate if you have a problem with something, and to use your voice and stand up for people, and to create justice, essentially. So that is what you've been told for this reading. As I said, if it resonates, take it. If it doesn't, it doesn't. If you don't feel like any of this applied to you, then maybe pick a different pile. Because I feel like I was a little bit harsh in this reading. I just want to say you're not a bad person. You're just being asked to reflect and clear out on that toxic energy. But that was your reading for today, pile 3. If you did enjoy it, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. And if you were drawn to any other piles, please feel free to check those out now, as this is the end of your reading. And I hope to see you here next week, Friday, for another reading. Bye. Okay, pile 4, welcome to your reading all about your month ahead. So you chose the Dogtooth Amethyst, which I'm pretty sure is about confidence and taking action and being brave. And these are your career cards, so let's get into them. So you have the One of Wands, or the Ace of Wands, and then you also have the Queen of Wands here. Interesting, okay, in reverse. That's interesting. Okay, I love this yellow energy. This is such a positive, happy energy, and it's also such a juxtaposition to the purple of the crystal that you got. Okay, so in terms of career, you are going to have, like, in the month of November, a really creative, kind of sudden new idea that could really bring in, like, a lot of success, a lot of benefits if you actually invest into it and invest time and energy and effort into it. Unfortunately, you have a tendency to be quite changeable. The Queen of Wands in reverse is kind of like a fluctuating energy. So you might be the type of person to get one idea one week and then another one the next, and then that means you abandon the other idea that you had, but that idea was really fruitful and really great and positive, and you should have invested time in it, but you just constantly flip from one idea to the next and don't actually take any action when it comes to these ideas, therefore letting them pass you by. In November, you're going to get such a great idea, and you're being told to basically act on that and invest in it. So this could be like, for example, say you're a writer and you always have book ideas and you never really feel inspired by them. In November, you're going to get a book idea that all of a sudden is so amazing, and you're like very inspired by it, but because you didn't do anything with the others, you think it's just the same sort of idea that isn't, going to have anything come of it, and so you move on. This is telling you to act on it and make sure you write that book idea down and follow through with writing it. So obviously that's just an example. Take what resonates. That might not be true for all of you. You might not be a writer. That's just an example to give you an idea of the type of thing I'm talking about, where you may get like a really creative idea and feel really inspired, and then you retreat from it because that you just have such an excitable, changeable energy. So in November, you're being asked to focus on that because it may have a really big impact on your career. It could be like a new idea with an approach to work, and maybe you don't feel like you should speak up and talk about it, but this is telling you it's a really good idea and to go for it. But it's going to reap so many benefits and successes that it does change your career. It almost changes the path you're on, or further improves the path you're on if you enjoy the path that you're currently on. So you're being told to not let that pass you by. Okay. So what is on the cards for love for pile 4 in November? Okay, interesting. You actually got 3 cards instead of 2. So you have the 8 of Coins. You also have the Knight of Coins. And you also have the Queen of Coins. For those of you in a really committed relationship that you don't plan on like leaving anytime soon, there might potentially be babies on the cards for you, because this card can be about that. However, for others of you, I feel like if you are starting a relationship in November, if someone does end up coming into your life, I feel like this is going to be a creative partner. This is going to be a work partner. So this could be someone you meet at work, but it could also be to do with this idea that you had. You're collaborating with somebody and you're both putting in a lot of hard work into this activity. And by putting in that hard work, you actually bring in a lot of monetary success together, but there's definitely an air of romance in your relationship. Because of the Knight here, I feel like someone is going to come into your life, but they are going to potentially come in as a friend first, and you kind of work on this project together, and then it might delve into romance. And I definitely feel like this is someone worth keeping and worth holding on to. This is someone very valuable and very important who really improves your life and makes you happy. So if they do make you feel good and they make you happy and they're a great person and they are putting in just as much effort as you are into whatever this project is, then yeah, they're definitely someone worth keeping. They're definitely someone special. But I think the way you bring them in is by working really hard on this thing. If you don't work on this thing, if you let that opportunity pass you by, not only are you jeopardizing your career, because it had a lot of career success, but you may also be preventing this opportunity to meet this person from presenting itself. So it's really important that you trust and believe in your creative abilities, your ideas, the things you think of, because they're worth listening to, and don't really let those opportunities pass you by. Okay. And so for pile 4, also there's, again, purple and yellow energy. You might have, like, really similar, like, kind of energies, but in a way where they kind of offset each other. So, like, you're the same in the sense that you're the opposite ends of the spectrum, but in your differences and being so extreme, you're almost like the exact same person. Okay, so your general life, I got the 4 of Summer for you, and then another card, please, for pile 4. Hey, that's interesting that you got 2 4s. As in, like, your pile 4, there's a 4 here, there's also an 8 there. And then you have the empty cottage as well. Okay. So that energy that I was talking about, where you kind of, you tend to be someone who lets opportunities pass you by, that's kind of a toxic habit of yours. Like, it's that you don't actually put effort into making these things a reality. And this card is kind of telling you, if you continue to let that energy fester and you don't actually act and do anything, you're forever going to be stuck in this kind of like dark, sad cottage. Not forever, but until you choose to make a difference. You're always going to be feeling kind of empty and unfulfilled and like things aren't changing. So this card is telling you, you need to make a change, you need to act in order to escape this kind of seclusion, this kind of isolation that you feel when you're not investing in your creative talents. It's what you're made for. Like, you were literally made to express these really creative ideas and put them out there. So if you don't do that, you're not fulfilling your purpose, and then that's kind of what's making you feel miserable. And then with the 4 of Summer, this is like a very lovely card. There's a lot of love around it. It's also a lot of like success and growth and potential. So by putting that energy into your life and approaching your life in that way, you end up bringing in a lot of success, not just in terms of career and creative ideas and hobbies and opportunities, also in love. Like, you end up inviting in just such a lovely, positive, kind and happy energy. By not, putting yourself first and putting your needs first, you actually end up feeling really restless because you have all this pent up energy of like creativity and you want to put it somewhere, but you're not doing it because of this kind of like toxic habit of yours. So you're really being asked to store that restless energy into something productive. There may also be like a situation in your life, a situation, a place, a person that isn't the best for you and is kind of creating like a toxic environment that you're kind of working your feelings through in November. You're kind of figuring out what that is and realizing instead of investing your time and effort into that, you need to start putting it into this, into yourself. So yeah, let's see if there are any important dates, planets, or houses for you for this month. Interesting. Okay, so you have the moon, which the last pile had, so it might be worth checking that one out. You also have Sagittarius, and you also have the 10th house. So Sagittarius is like very, to me, it's very like career driven, money driven, going after what you want, but also keeping your positive, happy, bubbly, kind attitude, like being like a really interesting, fun person, but still investing so much time and effort into going after your ambitions and being a very ambitious person, very intelligent about things. There's an air of mystery around what this is going to reap, the benefits this is going to reap, the people this is going to bring in. It's definitely bringing in success in terms of like in terms of if you invest in this thing, you will be successful. But as to what is kind of a mystery. Like, you don't know, you can't even comprehend the good things that are coming in if you actually start investing in your own ideas and being like a little entrepreneur, basically. There's like Sagittarius energy is being like a little entrepreneur. And then with the 10th house is Capricorn energy, and it's all about social status, ambition, positions in society, and what you contribute to society. So this is about your achievements in career. So there is such a heavy weight over you investing in this creative project for November. This creative idea may have come to you in October, and maybe you've been sitting on it, and this is telling you in November you need to act on it. So this is basically telling you that if you actually invest in yourself, your creative ideas, your creative pursuits, you will improve your social standing, your accomplishments, your achievements. It will help you feel a lot more fulfilled in terms of what you feel like you're meant for and supposed to do. It's about you finding the right job and the right community for you, and this idea can help you do that. By starting this new project, you can find what you feel like you're meant for, what you feel like you're supposed to fit into. Okay, so that was your reading, pile 4. I hope you liked it. If you did, please leave a like, comment and subscribe, as it really helps the channel. If you're drawn to any other piles, please feel free to check those out now, as this is the end of your reading, and I hope to see you here for another reading next week, Friday. Bye. Okay, welcome pile 5 to your reading, all about your November predictions. So you chose the Howlite Tower, and these are your cards for your career. So you have, in reverse, the King of Coins, and again in reverse, the Three of Chalices. Okay, so you strike me as somebody who may potentially have a lot of financial success and a lot of wealth and a good career standing, and you're so concerned with being taken advantage of and sketchy people, and believe me, there are sketchy people around you, but you're so concerned with being taken advantage of, losing that high standing in your career, losing your money, that you kind of have these tendencies to push people away and act really cold and not really invite people in and not help others sort of climb the ladder, even though you totally could. And because of that, you're kind of preventing yourself from meeting the genuinely good people who aren't going to take advantage of you, who genuinely do need your help and will be your friend, and will treat you well. However, there are people around you who are gossiping about you, talking about you, especially at work, especially in your career. It could be colleagues. It could be as a direct result of this kind of cold, standoffish behavior where you just invest in your work and don't talk to people and don't nurture relationships. That could be where the gossip is coming from. But it could also just be that these people are resentful of the fact that you're not easy to wrap around their finger, if that makes sense. You're not easy to take advantage of, and so they want to talk about that because it bothers them that they can't do that. And so I think this kind of the gossiping is breaking down these bonds that used to be really strong. I think maybe you had in the past like really strong friendships that kind of fell apart with your success and with your financial standing, and because of that, it's made you really guarded and jaded. Especially in November, I feel like career-wise, unfortunately, while you will still have your money, still be very successful in terms of career and finances, there are people who unfortunately are going to be around you in November who are talking about you behind your back and just not being nice, not being good people. Usually I would advise that you put yourself out there more and, you know, be nice to people and just be kind. And I would advise that you be kind anyway to everybody. However, in this instance, I don't think that would actually bring anything. I don't think it's worth investing in relationships with these people who are talking about you and gossiping about you. But do be kind and compassionate to them anyway, just in general, just to make sure your karma's in check. You know, make sure that their karma gets served to them by the universe, not by you. So, I just feel like while you're you're valid and justified to guard what you have, especially because of what you've been through in the past, I just feel like the only person that really hurts is you. So for November, if you really want to start putting yourself first and protecting yourself, you have to be open to people who maybe you don't have enough information about to judge yet. So you might be approaching everybody like, oh, this person just wants to take advantage of me. But when you actually talk to them, you have no kind of proof of that. So those people, I'd say, treat them like, be open to friendship and be open to relationships. But it's understandable as to why you would be closed off. But it just, unfortunately, with success as well, when you are a successful person, there is just going to be toxic people around you, just kind of flitting around and talking about you. That's just, unfortunately, the way it is. It just comes from jealousy. So just keep moving, be strong, and remember to invite in positive connections and be open to people who haven't, you know, done anything to you. Don't just immediately assume that they will or that they're going to. Just try and approach your life like no past experiences have kind of happened. Okay. So what is going to happen for pile 5 in terms of love for November? Interesting. Okay. So you have the 3 of coins, which is really interesting. And then you also have the 5 of swords. So you are basically being told to, with these people back here, the people who are gossiping, being cruel, being rude, the people in the past who have taken advantage of you, you're being told to take whatever you have left, whatever resources you have left that they didn't take or mooch off of, take it and go. Leave behind what they've already taken, forget about it, and just move forward with your life. Leave with what you do have. Then you're going to invite in November, by leaving these people in this situation, you're going to invite in a really positive energy, new people who genuinely care about you and want to work with you to help you, and you help them, and vice versa. And you're all, with your great, good, kind energies, going to work on a project together that is going to be fruitful and balanced. Like, it's going to bring monetary success to all three of you, but without anyone taking advantage or, like, doing anything. You just have to make sure that you yourself are not investing in this kind of gossipy behavior, and you have to check and make sure, like, if someone tries to come up to you and gossip about someone in this group, you need to stop that and shut that down right away, because in doing that you could ruin this really great dynamic that you have, this really close bond that you have with these people. So you need to make sure you're not gossiping, as well as avoid people who are, like, gossiping and being rude and being cruel about people, and just make sure you're surrounding yourself with really good positive energy, because that's going to bring in the most success for you. I feel like this month, instead of romantic love, there's a lot of emphasis on friendship. I definitely feel like you are clearing out old, maybe toxic friendships and pulling away from that, but investing in positive friendships. But ones that are work-based. I feel like you will probably meet most of your friends at work, or in a work setting, in the sense of, like, you'll be working with these people even if you don't work at the same company, maybe on, like, a separate project behind the scenes. So there's definitely friendship on its way to you, as well as toxic friendships on their way out from your life in November. So you've kind of got this mixed energy of leaving toxic friends and gaining positive ones. But the toxic friends, the toxic people you may have once thought were really close, strong, bonded, because there's an element of the people talking about you having once been a really close, connected friend of yours, but then this kind of jealousy, the toxic energy, the envy just kind of festered into this really ugly relationship that you then had to walk away from. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's a close friend from the past that has stabbed you in the back, or will be stabbing you in the back in November, that you have to walk away from. And then don't worry, because you are going to get good friends later and good support. Okay, so what is happening in general in life for pile 5? Okay, you have Forget-Me-Not in reverse. And then you also have, okay, you got 2 cards. So you have the soil, the sun, in reverse. And I'll probably put that here, if you can still see that. And then you also have the dawn card here. So the dawn card is reminding you that every day is an opportunity to seize something new. So basically it's letting you know, don't let any of these negative energies or toxic energies around you bring you down. Still approach every day like it's a new day, with lots of opportunities to grow career-wise, to gain friendships, to put effort into your life, to invest in creative endeavours, to invest in self-care. Every day is yours to seize, so definitely still invest in yourself. And the Forget-Me-Not makes me feel like you really don't give a shit, like, about these people that you are leaving behind, the people who took advantage of you. You're like, please forget me, actually. Like, literally remove me from your life. Pretend I don't exist, because I don't even want you talking about me. That makes me feel like the gossip really bothers you, but, like, please, for the love of God, don't listen to other people and their gossip. It always has been and always will be embarrassing for people to bully other people. Always has been, always will be. They're the embarrassing ones, not you, okay? And then with the sun in reverse, it makes me feel like the King of Coins energy in reverse again. I feel that really powerfully. Like, I feel like while on the surface you have success, you maybe, let's say you have like your own home, or you rent your own place, or you've got like a lot of money, or you've got like a really great career. On the surface, all of that looks great, but fundamentally underneath that, I think you're lacking in supportive relationships, trustworthy people, trustworthy confidants, friends, and I think that makes you feel unsuccessful. On the one hand, you feel successful, like monetary, like on paper you feel successful, but personally you don't. And this month is basically you working through those feelings and trying to figure out how to walk away from these people, how to forget about the gossip that they tell you and like the things you know that they're doing behind your back, how to still seize the day, and how to still approach life with a really positive outlook, and how to try to kind of return your success to like a kind of balanced nature. So in general, you're kind of working to temper your life, essentially. You're working to have a great social and kind of financial life, as well as a good personal life, a good career. You're also working on being super positive and trying to not be held back by the negative experiences you've had. Okay, so let's see if there's any important dates, star signs, houses, planets for you this month. Okay, I feel like throwing again, but I'm gonna trust it. So you have the number 12, so December. So maybe in December you're meeting some great people, or by December, hopefully some of these energies have balanced out and you've gotten rid of kind of that toxic energy. And then you also have the planet Mercury. You also have the planet Mercury over here, which is basically about your mind, your intelligence, your communication, your reason. So it's definitely about how well you communicate and remove these situations, but it's also about how logical and methodical you are, especially in approach to your career. It's showing that you as an individual is very solid this month, and you need to focus on yourself, improving yourself, taking care of yourself, putting yourself first. You need to focus on like the way you think, your outlook on life, as well as the way you communicate with people, because you might be blocking yourself off from really great people because of your experiences. And then you also have Libra, which is right smack dab in the middle of all of the signs. So you're definitely being asked to find a balance and work on balance now. You're being asked to invest as much in your personal life as you are in your material life. You're being asked to focus on like harmony, and kind of being like a charming, elegant kind of person, and to be incredibly balanced, and try to retain a positive outlook. You're being asked to not be so jaded, essentially, not be so changed by your experiences. You're being asked to be positive despite what you've been through. Okay, so that was your reading, pile 5. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe, as it really helps the channel out. If you were drawn to any other piles, please feel free to check those out now, as this is the end of your reading. And if not, I hope to see you here next week on Friday for another reading. Bye.